Hey everyone, this is Aldi. Today I'll be talking about the importance of your browser history. So what is browser history? In the computer world, the web browsing history refers to the list of web pages a user visited recently and associated data such as page title and time of visit. These are all recorded by the web browser software or standard for a certain period of time, usually from a day, a few days, or a few weeks. So how do you access the browser history? In most browsers such as Chrome, Firefox, or Internet Explorer, you can access it by pressing Control and H. H stands for history, obviously. The normal way, if you don't have access to keyboard or something, involves going to the option menu, which is usually on the top right in most browser. And if you click that, there's usually a menu to go straight to the history. There's a picture of the history on Google Chrome. So if you see top right, there's a 3 dots where you get to the menu, and under there there's a history, and there's a small view of your history preview. And then if you click on the history itself, Control H, you get to this big page with all your history. You can see the dates and all the pages that you visited and what time you visited it. You can clear this history, but there are some ways that to retrieve them back again, so they're not really deleted for it. So what is shown on browser history? Browser history contains many important information. It has personal activity, habits, and tendencies. So let's say you're a businessman, your browser history probably involves stuff like maybe stock prices value or news on the latest kind of economic development. And if you're a children, your browser history is probably involving stuff like kid YouTube video or toys or stuff like that. And browser history usually contains lists of pages visited by the PC also, and the timestamp of each visit. The newest thing is for browser history is that they are usually synced to account. So if I'm logged into my Google account, whatever is in my Google Chrome history will be the same regardless of which computer I'm in. So even if I'm at home or if I'm at work or visiting the library somewhere, if I could log into my Google Chrome account and use the sync feature, all my browser history will stay the same. This is obviously both good and bad. If you are doing some kind of research and you're like, what page did I visit yesterday? I couldn't find it again when I was at home or something, and then you're in the library, you can look at your history and see which page did you visit last night and then go over there. The bad thing about this is obviously it's kind of intrusive because it basically knows wherever what have you done at home. You could find it at work or school, and sometimes it might not be a good thing because maybe, I don't know, some inappropriate website or something like that. So browser history uniqueness. A recent study by French Public Research Institute IMRIA concludes that most users have a completely distinctive history when it comes to websites they visit. So it's kind of like their fingerprints where it's totally unique. And why it matters is because people are predictable in what they browse, but they're also unique at the same time. So if anybody wants to do something malicious to your browser history, they can look at, like, let's say I go to Amazon a lot, so they're gonna see in my browser history like, oh, this guy goes to Amazon a lot, so maybe we should, if we're gonna plan his computer with some malware or something, let's do it on Amazon or other similar website, shopping websites that he probably will visit, so like eBay, Target, or something like that. Some of the crimes using browser histories and cookies. So in 2013, Yahoo announced that they had experienced a data breach that compromised over 1 billion accounts. So this was possible because the usage of cookies that you can let user to log in without any credential. Obviously, this is bad. And in 2016, Yahoo had a second data breach. These were from forced cookies that were created from user browser history. So forced cookies is it's like a fake history that is sent to people where it will tell you like, hey, you you seem like you want to buy a TV because you keep searching TV, even though the person itself never actually searched for TV and stuff like that. And this is bad because those links, they don't actually go to like selling TV or stuff like that, but they're linked to malware that can infect the computer and steal their personal information. So how a web browser handles your history. So active logins. Active logins are when users sign into the website and it migrates away from that site while the web browser keeps them logged in. Sometimes users must designate a website for persistent logins or authenticate a session with their web browser. Other times, active logins occur automatically with websites for which they've requested the web browser remember their login credentials. So sometimes I use this feature a lot on my home computer. I go to basically few websites frequently, and on this few website I never have to log in because it always saves my login. And when I do log out, it just writes my username and password. So obviously this can be bad. It's just not a good habit, but a lot of people use it anyway, and if you can trust your device enough or the website enough, it should be fine. Browsing and download history. For most web browsers, browsing history is the aggregate of web destinations stored in a user history menu as well as the size that auto-completes in the browser location bar. Download history refers to all the files that individuals download off the internet while using their web browser. So this is not, I think everybody knows what browsing history is and download history. So when you browse something, it is recorded in the browsing history, both for your convenience, so you can visit whichever website you visited before. And download history is a big list of all the stuff you download, like PDF, PowerPoint, Excel, anything only from the internet. So if you download something and you couldn't find it, you go to download history to find it again. Cache. Cache is the temporary files like web pages and online media are stored in the cache. Doing so speeds up the web browsing experience. It's easy for a web browser to load a save file than to load a new copy of the website or page. So if you notice, if you use the computer every day, the same computer every day, and you visit the same website every day, you notice that that website will load very fast. But then if you visit like a new website that you never visited before, it'll take a while for things to load. This is because of cache. So the cache save what it was like, all the data that happened when you visit that website previous time. So a lot of people probably visit YouTube like at least once a day. So YouTube probably has cache in your computer. So if you go to YouTube, everything will go super fast. But if you go to some other website that you don't usually visit, you'll notice that it loads pretty slowly. But if you then start to visiting this new website more frequently the next few days, and then the cache will start build up, and this new website will be as fast as if you were visiting YouTube. So that's the purpose of cache. Cookies. So cookies, websites commonly use cookies to track user site preferences, login status, and information regarding active plugins. Third parties can leverage cookies to gather information about user across multiple websites. Forging a cookie, as was the case in the Yahoo security event, can sometimes enable bad actors to gain access to users' account without knowing password. So again, cookies is just not a part of the history of things. Your login, what kind of computers you have, or what kind of software you have, what kind of browser extensions you have, and all that stuff. Form and search bar data. This portion of a user history refers to all information they've typed into forms displayed on web pages and into the browser search bar. Should be pretty obvious. Offline website data. Sometimes users choose to store information from web browser in their computer. This allows them to access the information even when they're connected to the web. This is usually stuff like a document or maybe picture that you save. This will go to this folder that you can access without internet. Site preferences. So whenever a user visits a website, site preferences save the configuration specified by the user for that particular destination. This type of preference includes pop-up, blocker resets, character encoding, and minimum level. So this is more like a config thing. Why you should pay more attention to your web browsing history. You log into one of your accounts on a public computer. Again, so like when you're at home and when you're at a library or when you're at work, if you're logging on all of this software, which I usually do because I just need my bookmarks and everything on every computer that I use. So you should pay attention to the browsing history. I usually try to delete the history after I've used that computer, unless it's my personal computer. because for privacy reason and everything else. You don't want websites tracking you. If you ever notice, like when you go to a website and somehow it kind of knows what you're looking for, that's what the cookies and the web browsing history. So this helps if you're like going shopping on Amazon or something, but it can also be bad for you because it makes you feel like you're being watched all the time. So that's why. Another thing is if you're encountering a bug when you're going to load a website. So if you go to the website and there's a bug or something, usually the best way is to clear the cache. This usually happens very often with YouTube. If you watch so much YouTube, basically it builds up in your RAM and you need to clear it. Sometimes like, oh, why is the YouTube video so slow but my internet is so fast? So that's probably why the files from YouTube is saved in your cache in your explorers and you have to clear them again. Your browser is slow. This is another one where it's super common too. So when your web browser is slow, you can figure out what's going on, and you have like a nice computer or something, like what's going on, and then you close it, but you open again, like nothing happening. You try turning on and off your computer again, but nothing's happening. So another way to maybe fix that is to delete your cache, browsing history, download history, and everything else from your browser. I use this very often when, I don't know, like I notice I haven't done it in like few weeks or something. I have a nice computer, but sometimes it's just too much too. So I would delete the cookies, browsing history, the cache, and everything, and things would just get a lot faster. If you change your login credentials, so there are times where we choose to change our password. This presents a problem if we don't clear our cookies. Failure to do so could prevent a website from successfully authenticating us for a service. Deleting cookies and creating a new one with the updated login credential will solve this problem. So this is usually most common on Google Drive. If you ever go to Google Drive and go to your own Google Drive and try to download a document or a picture or something like that, and then it will tell you you do not have authorization to get this file, which is weird. And like, and then you're like, well, this is my account. Why can't I get my stuff? This is why. So the cookies are saving your login when you were not logged in, which is kind of weird. Like basically the data that the computer sees is when you were not logged in. So the way to fix that is to make the cookies update that to the fact that when you are logged in. So the way to do that is to delete the cookies. So now you don't have any other cookies, and then you log out of the Google Drive, and then you log in again. When you log in again, the cookies will record, okay, this guy's logged in with the correct credential and everything. So then that's when you log in correctly, and then you should be able to access your files and download it, everything else. So besides Google Drive, this could also happen to stuff like your email or other stuff like I don't think YouTube video, but yeah, it's mostly email and Google Drive. So that's all the presentation I have today. Hopefully you've learned something new about the importance of your browsing history, cookies, and all that stuff. Thank you.